What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having an okay Tuesday. First and foremost, I wanted to touch base on the Lighthouse Report that we're going to be launching July 1st, starting to roll out kind of these announcements about contributors. Crypto Airy, many of you may know her, has some really interesting announcements. News that's going to be coming out within the report. The report is freely claimable, obviously, within July. You can go onto the site. You can learn more about all the contributors, et cetera, et cetera. We really wanted to put this out for free for the first month to gather sentiment around it. And really the goal is to be able to build and scale it out in the most agnostic way possible, while also kind of making it really engaging and interesting. A lot of the times when we read through these reports, it's a battle with hitting Control F to try to find something in a 120, 130 page document. And you really don't have that kind of concise and warm and welcoming place to kind of go and read, across the spectrum of digital assets, whether it be, a legal review to traditional finance to DeFi to adoption to sentiment, whatever it may be. Very excited to have Eddie on board, and it's going to be awesome whenever you guys get to see the content that she's put in. More news, obviously, coming with additional contributors starting tomorrow, I believe. I wanted to touch on the state of the market as well. So I last week was kind of talking about this $19,500 level with Bitcoin, 19,005, 19,007. Obviously, we definitely had a wick down below. I mean, the weekend was filled with panic, a lot of red, obviously. Nice little recovery. Now we're kind of holding support above that 19.7, 19.5 range right now. But what I did want to do, I'm not going to pull up all the charts. There's synergy across all the charts right now. If you go to the total crypto market cap, if you go to the total altcoin market cap excluding Bitcoin, if you go to the total altcoin market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, a lot of these things are holding critical support right now, potentially with some wicks down prior to, but we had candle bodies close above support, which is good in the interim. I'm not saying that there's not potentially more pain to come, but I'm also not saying that we're definitively in some sort of a massive bull market right now either. Normally, after capitulation, regardless, we have a little bit of an accumulation phase. But I did want to give a shout out to Crypto Crew University. I watch this dude all the time. He primarily focuses on Bitcoin, but then during certain points of the market cycle, he will go over the alts as well. So let me clean this up for you guys real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you look on the monthly, with these logarithmic growth curves, you can kind of see the cycle highs and the cycle lows. We've historically always held on this bottom trend line during bear trends in the market, or bear markets. We did wick below and have a body close below, but not a full body close below back in March of 2020. And we immediately saw a run up and kind of a reclaiming of that area of support, which is this bottom trend line. Now, the one thing that Crypto Crew, to give a complete shout out to him, this is, it's credit to him for this content, pointed out is unless we break like $36,000 this month and get above this bottom trend line, these log growth curves are, that bottom trend line becomes resistance, obviously. I'm not saying that there's not outliers and that things couldn't happen, that we couldn't break above it, and I do think we probably get above it at some point in time, but I would consider it somewhat an area to be paying attention to at least, as well as, do we ever touch the top trend line again during a bull market? For example, if we were to touch the top trend line in 2024, that's almost $500,000 Bitcoin. Normally, these things regress. You see lower ceilings and higher floors. The volatility kind of narrows down as this asset class grows, in my opinion. I'll be watching this bottom trend line, and I'll really be watching kind of this median line as well for maybe a potential top during the next cycle, which I believe will probably peak somewhere in 2025. So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but if you populate log growth curves and you pull up the monthly, pay attention to this bottom trend line, and then when we start ending the accumulation phase and getting into prices starting to go back up again at some point in time, pay attention to kind of where these levels are. These are regressing tops. It'll be interesting to see what happens during the next cycle. All right, moving forward, I wanted to give a shout out to both Ripple and hBAR. There are, NFT NYC is going on right now, and we can see billboards, Times Square, essentially, of the XRP ledger, speed, efficiency. And we can also see the same thing from Hedera Hashgraph. We can see hedera.com/NFT. It's just great. And piggybacking on top of that, on XRP updating their site today to allude to some of the future iterations of utility that are going to be on this site. So not only now do we have DEX, which is obviously highlighted, but you're going to have a swap functionality, a bridge, and a fiat on-ramp. Fantastic that the UI and the UX are getting prepared for rolling these aspects out for production, and excited to see where that goes. And I also wanted to touch base on Turtle Moon. So this is hgraph Punk's Turtle Moon. They just announced a new service, which is hgraph.io. It's the first GraphQL API for Hedera's mainnet. Simply get data in just one call, or one data call instead of hundreds, or API call. We are partnering with Zeus Market as our first closed beta participant. If you guys want to read more on this, certainly interesting, and glad to see that Turtle Moon is putting out public source tools for the Hedera community to use to enable decentralized applications to work more efficiently on Hedera's network. Okay, kind of the elephant in the room today, obviously, and I posted about this last week. Was waiting for some of this to come out. Bank for International Settlements putting out an entire document early that is going to be within their annual review that comes out within a handful of days or so, that is entitled The Future Monetary System. Now, what they are doing, and you'll see narratives and rhetoric all across crypto Twitter today. I think Bitcoin or Documenting Bitcoin or whatever one of those Twitter pages are, said that they're using Bitcoin as a model for all this stuff. It's just nonsensical. The Bank for International Settlements literally telling you the future monetary system lies in the fusion of new tech capabilities with digital central bank money at its core. They are going to try to centralize and control money just like they always have. I mean, that is what the bankers are going to do. If you want to read through, interestingly enough, they came out with a U.S. Using CBDCs across border document as well today. This talks about some familiar proof of concepts that we've seen. This is Inthenon LineRock, Project Jura, Project Dunbar, and Enbridge. But, the future monetary system, it's 42 pages long. It talks about inefficiency with Ethereum when gas fees went up. It talks about centrality. It talks about sound central banking money. It talks about the collapse of stable coins, Terra USD, which was it's very interesting to start seeing regulation really focusing on stablecoin initiatives in tandem with a lot of these central banking organizations rolling out concerns around stablecoins, that seemingly were prepared for these depegging or protocol problems to occur within things like Terra, even USDT that we've talked about recently. So network congestion on Ethereum, fragmentation of layer 1 blockchains, the scalability trilemma. You can kind of go through everything within that. I'm not going to spend too much time in that. I'm not going to read 42 pages right now because there's a lot to get through. So I definitely wanted to talk about this because I think a portion of this might have been missed. I'm sure that you've seen this news today, but I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into this news. So this is Ripple and British automotive company Lotus Cars partner to launch NFT initiatives. This is Lotus Cars' announcement. But if you delve a little bit deeper, Lotus Cars, NFT Pro, and Ripple have all partnered to bring automotive NFTs to the XRP ledger. Now, if you delve a little bit deeper than that, a few days ago, NFT Pro tagged Ripple. Only got 3 likes on their tag, announcing their partnership with Lotus Cars. Now, if you delve a little bit deeper into that, Web3 Pro looks like it's the umbrella company that manages NFT Pro as well. If you start delving out into that, their solutions through Web3 Pro deals very much so in carbon neutrality, ecologically friendly, but their clients and partners become fairly interesting as well. Ducati, Lamborghini, Adidas, Atari, Axion, Accenture, which is a RippleNet integrator, AWS, Circle, Coinbase, Sotheby's, I always say that wrong, Hyperledger, Innowise, the National Science Foundation, which is a government organization in the U.S., BitPay, and like I said, NFT Pro is right here. So that is interesting to me, just to kind of see that this kind of an umbrella organization tying themselves in with Lotus, tying themselves in with RippleNet for kind of those auto NFTs that we're going to be seeing start to roll out on the XRPL. Same thing with kind of the synergy and like the carbon neutral, carbon negative type aspects. Cardano founder Charles Hoskin comments on the XRP lawsuit and calls it regulation through enforcement. This is a given. We know how transparent Ripple has been. We know how many times they've met with the SEC prior to the lawsuit occurring. And Charles brings up some good points, but they're points that we already all know. It's an example of what happens when you do regulation through enforcement instead of legislation. You should have clear, understandable standards, and there should be a clear process for people to adhere and comply with those standards. For example, with the Ethereum crowd sale in Switzerland, we just asked the Swiss government, and after a few weeks of haggling, they told us what to do, and we had a thing, and it was over. Obviously not the case with the SEC. It creates perverse incentives inside the marketplace and ultimately regulatory arbitrage. Basically, you're going to have organizations moving to nations that are actually willing to regulate and provide clarity. So, paying attention as always. On the heels of that, ProShares is going to be launching its first United States ETF that is bearish on Bitcoin. Products seeking the inverse or the opposite positive performance of the S&P CME Bitcoin Futures Index are expected to list on the New York Stock Exchange on Tuesday. All right, back into the XRPL a little bit here. Not officially tied to Expector anymore, but certainly still want to support. It was more of just a time thing, obviously, with launching Genfinity, the Lighthouse Report, etc. Versex and Expector collaborating towards rewarding users. There's information on an airdrop, so if you are holding Expector or Versex, pay attention. These are the airdrop requirements. Good to see partnerships and kind of the flourishing that's going on the XRPL. This is Versex's website right here. I would suggest you check it out. Not affiliated with them either. 22 days, 17 hours, 41 minutes, and 9 seconds to the gameplay trailer. I think this is a good move. I don't know how long this lasts, but this is the UK government backtracking on unhosted wallet data. So essentially, the government's saying that it doesn't make sense to require all senders and receivers of funds to private crypto wallets having to delve out and dox themselves, basically, collect the recipient's identification details. So they've kind of stepped back a little bit from that framework, but I do think eventually we're going to see very, very strong KYC initiatives coming out across the board. More adoption, obviously. Deloitte to help NYDIG, I think that's a typo up there, roll out Bitcoin products, including banking. Now, there are obviously some big names within this. Wells Fargo, Fidelity Information Services, JP Morgan, NYDIG partnered with kind of all these organizations, and we could see one of the big four auditing firms, Deloitte, doing the same. And then last but not least, I wanted to touch base on this. So I found this earlier today as well. This is an interview with the CEO-elect at BNY Mellon, which is obviously a gigantic banking organization. Robin Vince, president and CEO-elect of BNY Mellon, talking about, as a firm, BNY Mellon touches about 20% of all of the world's investable assets. So we have that vantage point to really see what's going on. And we are really listening to our clients. One of the reasons why I'm here is to really talk to our wealth advisors to understand what's going on in their world and really push the concept of innovation in the wealth tech space. There's so much going on, listening, driving forward, a lot of opportunity, and these volatile markets are an important moment for us all to be staying connected to our clients. Now you've got the interviewer here. I wonder what your take is on crypto. It's been an incredible crash to watch. But we recently had David Rubenstein on who said, listen, this is still an asset that people are going to invest in and work with, and it's not going to zero. BNY Mellon was one of the sort of forerunners, one of the pioneers of banking with crypto. What is your take? And then you've got Robin again, the president and CEO-elect of BNY Mellon. Well, crypto to me, and now we're going, hey, here's the Bitcoin and Ethereum narrative. At least Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are an asset class. We can debate whether the price should go up or down, but that's like any asset class. We can always have that debate. But the ecosystem around them, that is everything going on in stablecoins, tokenized assets, decentralized finance, the world of blockchain. There's a lot of interesting opportunity there, and we're investing and innovating in this space because this is part of the future of the financial markets. We had an era of paper back 50 years ago. We've been in the era of dematerialized ledgers. Now we're getting into the blockchain and tokenized assets era. I think it's going to be exciting, and we've got an important role to play. Key points. Crypto and blockchain are, well, crypto is not going to zero. The crypto is going to become, in part, the future of financial markets. I think that most of us that listen to, most contributors in this space think that it's going to pretty much consume a lot of the financial markets that exist right now. And last but not least, we were in the area of fiat. We were in the area of dematerialized ledgers. And now we're getting into blockchain and the tokenized assets area. Pretty cut and dry to see where it's going. BNY Mellon, not a stranger at all to proof of concepts. We can see years ago dealing with Earthport, Ripple, Asimo's on there. And they did proof of concepts with Ripple as well. These are years ago. I wouldn't take a whole ton of stock into these, but you can look more recently, partnering with Chainalysis, their compliance solution, and I believe also Circle utilizes them as a custodian for stablecoin reserves. We're going to see more and more and more. This is a new asset class, and it's not just Bitcoin and Ethereum. I am fervent on that belief. What is benchmarking that? Bitcoin is the first. Ethereum is pretty much the first from a smart contract standpoint that really dealt with kind of mass adoption, at least mass adoption as far as where we're at right now, and UX and UI for users to engage with. We're going to see more. We're going to see more that, even these banking organizations, like, they know it's coming. So, I just think that him saying that the tokenized assets, tokenized assets and blockchain are going to become an entire era, similar to what we saw with fiat, similar to what we saw with, these legacy ledgers. It's very interesting, paying attention to what they're doing, but then sometimes you do get little sprinklings of what they're saying too that are some powerful statements. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you when I talk to you. Bye.